Welcome to the IDP Plus Start Sit Show for Week 15. We're here to help you with your start sit questions for not only offense, but for IDP as well, or not only for just IDP, for offense as well. We want you to bring home your victory this week. I am your host, Ricky Rodriguez. You can find me on X at RickyRod66. I am joined, as always, by Shawn Teague, who you can find on X at Shawn8386. Thrilled to be with you here on Sunday, December 14th, the 15th week of the NFL regular season, Shawn, but for most leagues, the first week of fantasy football playoffs. It's hard to believe it's already week 15, the first week of the fantasy football playoffs. Shawn, you going to make it through?
It went fast, man. Time sure has flown the last 2 months. And then I'm in 12 playoffs out of 21 leagues. I still got a chance for a couple more. So fingers crossed. I really hope at least some of them make it to the next round. Nothing's more devastating than losing all of them very first week.
Exactly. That would be bad. Well, look, this is what happens oftentimes when we get to fantasy football playoff time is if there's a cold snap going on, there's bad weather conditions, and that could have significant implications on the decisions and who we play and so forth. I don't know if you saw the notes I typed up, Shawn, but I typed in there are 7 cold-ass weather games this week, and then we have one other late ahead as well, and I do mean cold. One of the things our audience may not be aware of, but I want to share with them, there's a very high correlation between low scores and when there's sustained winds of 15 plus miles per hour. There's a medium correlation between lower scoring and extremely cold temperatures defined as being below 20 degrees. So those are things to keep an eye on and can have implications and could impact some of your decisions. Don't want to go crazy for snow. Don't want to go crazy for rain. Don't want to go crazy for 25 degrees. But in some of these scenarios, it can make a difference. Now, shout out to Roto Grinders. This is where I got some of this latest weather info from. So let's just quickly summarize it. You've got the Chargers at Kansas City with temperatures in the 20s, but light wind and no rain. Shouldn't be too bad. Baltimore at Cincinnati. Temperature in the teens with light winds, which will make it feel like single digits. So that is a little bit concerning for the Baltimore-Cincinnati game. That football gets hard like a rock, as I understand it. I've never played football in this kind of weather, but it gets hard like a rock. So it makes it a little bit harder to throw it and catch it around. Washington and the Giants, temperatures below freezing. There's now a potential for higher than the 10 to 15 mile per hour winds with gusts of 25 miles per hour. Could have impacts on the deeper throwing game, could have impacts on the kickers, but not necessarily on the shorter passing game. Cleveland and Chicago, temperature around 10 degrees with 10 mile per hour winds. The wind chill feels like about 0. That feels like a heavy running game. Buffalo at New England, temperatures below freezing with 10 mile per hour winds and gusts of 20 miles per hour. Snowfall should be done before kickoff in that one. Not expected to have a humongous impact. Las Vegas at Philadelphia, temperatures in the low 20s, 10 to 15 mile per hour winds with gusts of 25 miles per hour. Not sustained, but gusts, but wind chill in the single digits. Another rough one for playing, folks. Then on Monday night, Miami and Pittsburgh, the game starts at 20 degrees. Temperature will be dropping throughout. The late ad that I mentioned, the Jets in Jacksonville, now there's discussion about winds of up to 15 miles per hour sustained on that game as well. Other than that, clear as mud. I had a decision to make between Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott. Like the Jalen Hurts matchup a lot more. Didn't like the way he played last week. Don't really like the Dak Prescott matchup against Minnesota that much, but that's indoors with better weather. I decided to go with Prescott, Shawn.
Yeah, I don't blame you a bit. I've already told you some of my dilemmas. The cold weather is a big part of that. So yeah, if you have a better alternative, this is the one of the best weeks to swap out a guy that's been decent. Don't know if I'd bench an absolute stud, but it does make you question quite a bit.
And so let's talk about some of the key injuries, ins and outs. Christian Roseboom is returning. So we expect him to be the number 2 linebacker next to Trevin Wallace. So no Claude Charles. Darius Muasau, even though he was listed as questionable, he was activated from IR. If they activated him from IR, he's playing. And so we expect Muasau, as we talked in the show on Tuesday night, to play ahead of Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, who is questionable and did not practice. So he might not be active. And also we expect Muasau to play ahead of Zaire Barnes. Tatum Bethune is out once again. Eric Kendricks was not caught up from the practice squad. Looks like another week of Curtis Robinson. Don't feel great about that. Robert Spillane, questionable and limited. So we're going to have to keep an eye on the inactives for the early window here and see if he is active. Terrell Bernard, also questionable. He is expected to play, though. And that's another one we'll keep an eye on here in the early windows, actives and inactives when that comes out. On the defensive line, Tavius Robinson is in. He was activated from IR. Will impact the playing time for Draymond Jones, Mike Green, Kyle Van Noy. Joey Boza is in and is expected to play. Taekwon Lewis is in. Ricky, why in the hell are you bringing up Taekwon Lewis? Because when him and Ebicon play, Latu's snap count is down, Pay's snap count is down. You can't expect those heavy breakouts. Of course, the big news this week in terms of the outs is TJ Watt being out. I guess needle acupuncture stuff. I guess they went a little bit too deep and hit a lung, which was not good. He had to have surgery. Hopefully he's doing well, but certainly out this week. Shawn, how you feeling about Nick Herbig this week with Watt being out?
I mean, every other time Nick Herbig is in there, he usually does pretty well for us as far as getting sacks. He's got a pretty good motor himself, but the matchup itself against Miami, who does not hold the ball very long, makes it a little tough this week, actually. I mean, it's on paper, you think Tua's not very good. He's not going to throw a whole lot. We'll probably get a sack. Well, he also gets the ball out pretty quick. So it's risky. It's actually risky this week, I think.
Yeah, the Steelers against the Dolphins. The Dolphins are in the bottom tier in terms of giving up points to edges, so that is a huge risk. So know that if you're playing her, big folks. Jalen Carter's out. Love Jordan Davis this week as a result against the Raiders from the interior because he'll play a little bit over 6% of the snaps. Hendrickson is out. Shamar Stewart was not activated from IR. DeForest Buckner was not activated from IR. Kayvon Thibodeau is out. And we got some questionables from Monday night. Derek Horman. If you, for whatever reason, you're desperate and need to play him, make sure you have Yaya Black as a contingency or Cam Haywood. Dexter Lawrence is questionable as well. Most people are not playing him anymore because of the year he's having. Walter Nolan, because of the upside he had, but some are maybe taking a chance on him. He's questionable. Mason Graham's questionable. There are a lot of defensive backs do want to talk about before we get to the questions because there's a ton of them. Ardarius Washington was activated from IR. He was a starter next to Kyle Hamilton last year. If you're relying on Starks or Gilman, there's a little bit risk because Washington practiced in full all week. You could see Washington on the field in that scenario. Andrew Wingard returns from his concussion. Last week, Eric Murray returned from IR. With Wingard out, it was Murray and Johnson, Antonio Johnson. This week, Shawn and I are expecting out of those three, Shawn?
We are expecting Antonio Johnson to be on the bench, and it will be Murray and Wingard starting.
That is correct. That is what we're expecting. Tony Adams is in. I know some people jumped on Isaiah Oliver. If Oliver does play, it may be at cornerback because Azaria Thomas got put on IR, but he's not going to be playing in that safety role like he did last week. So that's a big risk if you go with Isaiah Thomas. Theo Jackson is returning, which could impact Harrison Smith's utilization. J.C. Horn and Lathan Ransom are both back in. Lathan Ransom not expected to start, expected to be Trevin Murray and Nick Scott. Kyle Duggar is expected to return. Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson are both in while Kyler Gordon went back to IR. We still expect Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to play that slot role. But Shawn, out of Johnson, Stevenson, and Nahshon Wright, do you think there's a risk on Nahshon Wright here?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually quite worried about this because I do have Wright quite a few leagues. I've already looked elsewhere this week. Plus, I'm not real big on the matchup anyway against Cleveland. So it's I was already kind of nervous without that big play, and that's what's kind of kept Wright going is those interceptions. I think he has 6 on the season. So without those big plays, I don't know he could pull that against Cleveland anyway. And now we're looking at rotations and possibly benching. So yeah, I'm looking at anywhere else.
Yeah, and now the Lions here in particular, we do want to hit on them. Brian Branch went on IR with injured reserve. Kirby Joseph ruled out. Thomas Harper ruled out. Last week, when Thomas Harper went out early in the game, Avonte Maddox, who has cornerback eligibility, ended up going in for him. But Avonte Maddox played almost all of his snaps deep. When Daniel Thomas came in, he played the Brian Branch role a little bit. Eric Hallett was called up from the practice squad. Jalen Mills was claimed. This is how Ricky thinks it's going to play out, and I'll be interested to hear how Shawn does. I still think Avonte Maddox plays the deep safety role because Eric Hallett, when both Branch and Joseph were out earlier this year when Branch got suspended, Hallett played the Branch role. Harper played the deeper role. And particularly with new players and so forth, I think Maddox, who's been in the system a little bit longer, plays deep. There's even a chance Jalen Mills, even though he's recently claimed because he's a veteran, he gets some snaps. We saw that. They did that with some linebackers in the past, like with Quan Alexander, with David Long. They just claimed him and put him into the lineup. So, Shawn, I think it's Hallett close to the line of scrimmage, Maddox deep. What's your feeling?
You don't think Daniel Thomas gets any of that?
I don't think Daniel Thomas gets any of that. I really don't.
Because I'm thinking he was injured when Hallett came in before as well. So
He was.
I'm wondering if Thomas may have a step on Hallett in the pecking order there. If so, either one, whoever starts, I project to be the box safety there. Daniel Thomas, when he was in Jacksonville, that was his role. He was always more up close to the line. He wasn't your deep guy. So whoever does get that start would be the main guy to pick up if you're truly desperate right now.
But yeah, with the uncertainty there, and you could tell the big reason we want to bring this up is because of Avonte Maddox. And while he's cornerback eligible, we saw this with Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey, cornerback eligible, but playing that deep safety role, not that star close to line role, which impacted him getting the bigger stats we're hoping for. So something to monitor. If you picked up Maddox, great, but just know if you put him in, it's risky from that regard. Last one, and we'll get to the questions. Jalen Armour-Davis is out, which bodes well for Kevin Winston again this week. Even though some of his PFF scores have not been very good, he has given us IDP points. And I'll tell you one more. Jalen Thompson and Dadrian Taylor-Demerson are both out, but we're not tracing Keaton Crawford for Arizona. All righty. Let's get into the questions. And I saw we had a super chat. If you want to make sure you
2 super chats to get to.
We have 2 super chats. All right, fantastic. Let me scroll down and find those rascals.
There's your first one right here.
Oh, you got it for me? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I got the first
one.
Yep.
Thank you, Rant. And by the way, if you do super chat, we're going to talk a little bit more about your questions, and we will make sure and answer before we leave the air today. All right, so we need 1 flex option, 3 points for tackles, 15 points for sacks. He needs 1 flex option on a Nakobe Dean, Alex Highsmith. And then needs 1 flex at the safety spot, same scoring system, Chamari Connor, Evan Williams, and Malachi Moore. So let's go to the defensive line. And we already talked about the fact that the Pittsburgh matchup for edges against Miami is not very good. So that is a risk of Highsmith. And Dean has had a sack. It's either in 4 of the last 5 games or 5 of the last 6. Plus, he's been putting up the tackles as well.
The problem with Dean is the matchup against the Raiders, And the Raiders, how many offensive snaps can they muster this week? We know Geno Smith is out. Can Kenny Pickett keep the change rolling more or less than Geno? That's a big question. So there is substantial risk in both of these.
Yeah, now
I,
at least Highsmith does add a few tackles here every now and then as well.
that's true. That's true. And I know Miami's going to try to establish the run. That's really their only hope here.
But he doesn't have now. He does have Herbig, who tends to play well, but he doesn't have Watt opposite him, Highsmith this week as well.
Yeah, both these players could see very little snaps this week. Miami is not known for high snap counts week in and week out either. In fact, I want to say they probably average somewhere in the high 50s. So, yeah, very risky. My gut says Dean here, just because I do think the tackles will be there for Dean, and the sack upside feels about the same for both right now.
Yeah, I could see Nakobe Dean picking up a sack on Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett being chased around the pocket, and Nakobe Dean tackling him 1 yard short of a line of scrimmage to get that sack. So I'm leaning Dean on this one, Shawn.
Yeah, with like I say, Fangio, he's been shooting about the middle quite a bit here lately, and with Phillips and Nolan Smith coming around the edge, if you throw Dean right there in the middle too, yeah, we can easily see a sack this week. But tackle upside as well. I think you got to go Dean here. But this was not easy.
And Jordan Davis and Ojimo, I think, will be crushing the inside the pocket. And with the Raiders' bad offensive line, I can just see Nakobe Dean also potentially just sliding through there and getting a sack. So we're going to go with Dean on the first one. On the second one, need one flex with the same scoring format out of Connor, Evan Williams, and Malachi Moore. How come I have a feeling I know who you're going to pick?
I don't know exactly where I'm going to go, man. Shamari Connor is usually my go-to in this on this list, but the matchup's a little worse. The weather's quite a bit worse. And then we got my buddy down here on the end, Malachi Moore, who's got a really good matchup.
Yeah, so I think we're probably in alignment that we're probably not. Evan Williams is the one we're taking out of these two.
Yeah, he's the odd man out for me. Even though his matchup isn't terrible, I'm just not trusting it this week.
So Connor in this Chiefs matchup against the Chargers, Connor's been getting the line of scrimmage snaps. He's been getting the slot snaps. Malachi Moore the past couple of weeks. The Jets have been using both him and Adams closer to the line of scrimmage. So, and the Jaguars are expected to try and run the ball a decent amount. If this game becomes a blowout as well, as some are expecting, there could be a lot of tackles in the fourth quarter available for Moore. Justin Herbert and the offense really struggled last week. Herbert completed less than 50% of his passes.
Yeah, he just didn't have the time. And that's very possible again this week because Chris Jones, Karlaftis, some of those other guys, they could get after Herbert just as bad this week. So now we're limiting the amount of passing opportunities that Connor could try to get in on. But he does play near the line of scrimmage, so if they do try to establish a run with Vidal and Hampton, I mean, he could be in for some tackles there too. Oh, boy.
The big question on this one is
can Connor get a sack?
yeah, that's where I was going to go, not necessarily Connor, but can either one of them get a sack? And I don't know if I see either one of them necessarily getting a sack.
I think Moore has the safer floor this week between the two. But I think Connor gives you the higher ceiling because of that sack potential, him playing down near the line of scrimmage. Even the high tackles, if they can get the running game going at all. I don't think I've helped myself at all here. I'm really stuck between these two.
So I'm thinking about Spagnuolo in the Chiefs situation. And I don't think the Chiefs are going to go out being passive. And I think after seeing what happened to the Chargers last week, I think they're going to blitz the crap out of them, as I'm thinking out loud. And I think that gives Connor some opportunities as well. I'm going to go Connor on this one. I still think he'll get a decent amount of tackles. I think Moore will as well, but
Yeah.
Connor has a better chance as a sack here, or some tackles for loss here potentially as well. So I'm going to go Connor.
Yeah, I like that too. Like I say, I think Connor is the higher ceiling, and Moore is your solid floor. So whichever you feel more comfortable with, I'm going for it. I'll take Connor as well.
All right. So there you go, Imran. Thank you for the super chat. And Shawn, you said there was another super chat. Would you mind pulling it up, buddy?
Got you right now.
All right. Hey, Kvaz, good morning to you and good luck. Thoughts on Zach Bowen for the rest of the season? Have a week 15 bye, which is fantastic. But with him mostly in coverage, I'm worried. One per tackle, two tackles for loss, 6 sacks, one pass defense. Thank you. So, Zach Bowen, I don't know if it's so much in coverage. It's more that they are actually using him also to chase after the quarterback, although not as much this past week as I've seen previously. Um, of course, they were rushing. It feels like if I, in hindsight, Dean was rushing more than Bond, and Bond was the one in coverage. But Shawn, they tend to play that two deep zone a lot with the two deep safeties.
Right.
Um, so why don't you talk a little bit? And I'm gonna look up. I'm going to look up something on Zach Bond while you're talking here.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to the schedule here. He doesn't have a game this week, which again against the Raiders, not a great matchup based on the amount of snaps the Raiders are running.
But I pulled up the last two. That's exactly where I was going to, Shawn. He has the Commanders and the
And the
Bills, and the
Bills, yeah.
Commanders and Bills are both at the bottom. Well, near. Let me rephrase that. Near the top of giving up points to linebackers.
Um, boy, that's over the last. Let me pull
That's
this up.
over the full season, granted.
Over the last 3 weeks. Oh no, wait, that's full season. Let me go back to this. I had it pulled up a minute ago. Over the last 3 weeks, we have the Bills, giving up the seventh most, and the Commanders down here at the 24th most. So I think you'll struggle next week against the Commanders. Just that team in general is just kind of drowning. Uh,
I don't know. I think Jaden Daniels will be back next week.
I think
I
they're
think they're going to
crazy to
play
bring
him.
him back. Crazy to bring him
I'm
back.
not saying they're not crazy, but I think they're going to
Yeah,
bring him back.
they,
And I think Daniels is going to force it.
I would shut him down. I was scared last week with that whole scenario and him coming back after that very unpleasant looking injury. Hopefully that scared him enough just to go ahead and shut him down and be done with the rest of the year. That's what I would hope. But if Daniels does play, that opens up a little more for Bond. And then obviously the Bills, that's all they have is a run game right now with Allen and the running backs and the short passing game. So Bond, rest of the season, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah,
Solid enough.
I like Bond. I'm very comfortable with him, and particularly at 6 per sack as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with Zach Bond. Good luck,
Especially,
Kbos.
especially not knowing if there's anybody else available, what your bench looks like, any of that. I mean, just hit us up next week. We'll be here to help you. You know, if you're worried about Bond, see what your other options are. We'll be here. So,
Yeah, absolutely, that is correct. All right, let's go to fantasy breakout here. Hi guys, got kicked out of the bio. Oh, that sucks, man. And now
so
you have a chance for revenge. It looks like this week. A
yeah.
lot at stake. I hope it's not one of your best friends or whatever that you're going after. All right, rank your favorite three linebackers: Schlesinger, Okereke, N'Kobe Dean, Devin Bush, Devin Lloyd, Van Ginkel, and I guess that's Eric Wilson, not Logan Wilson, is my guess.
My
All
favorite,
right.
just because I like them, because I like their uniforms. What are we going with here?
um, let's see. Without the scoring system, don't see the scoring system from him here. I'm just doing a quick check. So let's just go with a tackling mindset. So I got to have Schlesinger as one of those for sure.
Yeah, Schlesinger is probably the top one here. I'm looking to see if I disagree with the order he has them in, just listing here. and I do a bit. I would actually bump up Eric Wilson, maybe in between Bush and Lloyd, and that's probably my rank right there. Okereke, Dean, Bush, Wilson, Lloyd, Van Ginkel.
Okay, I want to think about Okereke for a second in this Washington Giants game. It's going to be cold. We talked about that. It's probably more of a short passing game kind of thing. Yeah, I think I'm okay with Okereke. And then I do like Dean against the Raiders. I'm good with those. The first three on his list.
Yeah, and Bush could have a very big game too, especially if the Bears jump out to a lead and just try to grind out the clock. That could lead to a lot more tackle opportunities. Since you already have Schwessinger in there, I'm fine with not starting Bush. Again, Lloyd doesn't have a bad matchup. It's just I like the others better.
Yeah, there's a lot of great choices on here. This isn't a question of this isn't riffraff we're going through on this. These are all top options indeed. So we're going to go with Schlesinger, Okereke, and Dean. Good luck to you, Fantasy Breakout. And now at DB, pick our favorite one. I have two favorites on here that I got to think through.
Duggar's out for me. Chin's not terrible. He's a bit banged up. Merrick, Evan Warrior, I think are my favorite two.
Oh, actually, I thought you were going to say Chin and Emanwari.
I'm a little worried about Chin just being as banged up as he has the last few weeks. If it's something that's going to get hurt again.
But he's had double-digit tackles both the last 2 weeks, 17 and 11 tackles. I can't let that go.
Can't let it go.
In terms of him playing question in both cases, Merrick, I mean, he's no Lathan Ransom from productivity perspective, at least for that 1 week.
He's going against the Saints, though. The Saints give up a bunch of points to safeties.
They do. I don't disagree with you there, but boy, it's hard for me to sit him and worry the way he's been playing. He's getting points in every kind of which way possible.
Yeah.
Especially he's getting tackles. I expect him to blitz Old Man Rivers today. That's the song, Old Man Rivers. But I won't sing to drive away our audience. Are we on this one, Shawn?
Chin's a good matchup too, man. I really like a lot of it. Emmett Warrior, I feel like we both agree on with the streak he's on and that offense they're going up against. We don't know what that's going to look like. Either way,
Smith at right tackle.
There's a lot of injuries going on there, and a new look. There's no way Phillip Rivers is game fast. He can look as fast as he is in practice, but until he's actually out there, I'm expecting quite a bit of rust. So Evan Warrior is my favorite just for the role he's been on right now. And then if you want to get down to matchups, it's Merrick and Chin. I don't think you mess up by starting either one. I really don't.
I think you do if you do Merrick. So
we're only picking one here. So
yeah, I know. If we're picking one, I'm going Emanwari 1, and then Chin 2nd and Merrick 3rd. Now, the only thing is if you have a high scoring system for tackles fantasy breakout, I might actually, in not big play scoring as much, I'd switch to Chin, and Shawn would switch to Merrick. But if it's, you got good balance between decent amount for tackles and big play scoring, then I'm going Emanwari.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're going to be fine either way.
One more for fantasy breakout, and then we're going to pick up the pace a little bit here. Looking at team defense, would you play the Eagles versus Vegas, the 49ers against Tennessee, or Dallas against Minnesota?
Those are pretty good matchups. I like the Eagles against the Raiders, probably the most.
Yeah, that's my pick as well. In the Guillotine League that I am, there was 3 teams out there. All these teams were out there plus 2 others. The Seahawks were out there, and the Jags were out there. And my order for the Fab waiver claim was Seahawks, Eagles, Jags, followed by 49ers, and I didn't put a claim in Dallas at all. So that is the recommendation, sir. Good luck with that. Dale's like, I've got to get this one right. Well, good luck, man. Lamar Jackson.
We're rooting for you. Next question.
Dale. All right, let's go to the next question. Good luck, man. We crack ourselves up sometimes, Dale. Sorry about that. And everybody else. Lamar Jackson or Jackson Dart? A lot of people were high on Jackson Dart listening to the radio shows and stuff and reading some stuff online. I'm sorry, I am not as high on Jackson Dart. They did not call any design runs for him last week, which was really his bread and butter. You've got this weather game that's not going to be that great for deep passing and so forth. Lamar ran 7 times for about 41 yards of touchdown, so he started getting his legs moving. And remember, there's 2 big passes that Lamar had last week that were like the likely one not being a touchdown in the end zone, and there was another one with Zay Flowers with a penalty taking it back. So I'm rolling with Lamar over Dart.
I'm right there with you. That Cincinnati defense sucks. I don't expect them to sack Lamar as many times this week. A bit of a revenge here. I think Lamar Jackson has a really good game, actually.
All right. So Dale, we hope we're steering you right, man, because I know you got to get this one right, and we hope we helped you in that one. All right. Good morning, Bird. Glad to have you back this week again. He's saying I got the first seed in the bye thanks to your help. Well, we're glad we could help out. I'll be listening this week because there are always nuggets of wisdoms in the shows. I do have one question, though. All right, cool. So he does have a question. Let's go to the question. So thank you for the kind words, Bird. Appreciate it. Love having you. There's a scoring system. We start 3 DBs, and I have the following: Gardner Johnson, Julian Love, Hufanga, and Mustafa. Would you drop any of these guys for Will Harris for weeks 16 and 17?
No.
It's a quick answer for me.
No.
Shawn already said the answer. No, we would not. We love Will Harris's utilization, but we don't love his productivity. We think he is an NFL professional football player, but as professional football players go, he's just a guy. I would not drop any of those.
He's the Cody Barton of safeties. He's going to get you a few tackles, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Lots of cardio.
Right. Fantasy Breakout has one more question for us now. Half PPR. Tet McMillan or Jennings as wide receiver 2. I know that one, which one I want to go with there. Swift Tracy or the other wide receiver in the flex. Let's start with the wide receiver 2.
Ted.
Oh, no. Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings against the Titans?
Juwan Jennings against the Titans, absolutely. Think about their cornerbacks. I just mentioned earlier how Winston is getting great IDP stats, but he's been torn up from a PFF grading perspective and all. McMillan, a couple of his games, he's gotten lucky because he's got a touchdown. But and which Bryce Young are you going to get? I think Purdy's going to have a very nice game against, with Ted, I think it's 2 catches for 36 yards or 34 yards probably. And the question is, does he get a touchdown or not?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm always off of Tet McMillan. I always pick somebody else, and every time I do, McMillan goes off. So I'm trying to come around to being a Tet McMillan believer, and then Ricky smashes me for it. I think Carolina has to win this to take over the lead in the South, and I think McMillan will actually have a decent game. I'm a little worried about the Titans not giving enough passing opportunities to Jennings, just based on their ability to run.
I think this is going to be a Jennings and Kittle game big time. I almost picked up Purdy to play him. I think Purdy's going to be a top 6 play this week. So the other thing I'm worried about Fantasy Breakout is Bryce Young on the road. I know it's a dome stadium, but it is New Orleans. And with New Orleans getting a little bit of momentum, I think the crowd will still be into the game. Young is too up and down for me. I'd rather trust Purdy. So you heard our arguments, man. Sorry we split you on that one. And then now the question is, would you play either one of those other guys over Swift, Tracy in the flex?
I
kind of like Tyrone Tracy this week against Washington.
I kind of like Swift against the Browns.
I'm sorry?
Swift against the Browns. after seeing what Pollard did last week, Tajay Spears against the Browns, being able to run all over them, I think Swift and Monangai can do the same thing. I think that'll be the plan, as cold as it is.
I think there will be a lot of running. I don't disagree with you there. Washington's run defense is so bad.
That's
The only
true.
defense worse is the Bengals.
Yeah, that's true. But is it going to be Tracy or is it going to be Singletary?
I think it's going to be Tracy.
So I think, well, you can make the argument they're going to split some too.
And if there's if
Barkley
it is short passing because of the weather, I think that bodes better for Tracy than Singletary too.
Right.
Boy, these are. I understand why you're struggling. So let's.
Well, we're not helping.
Yeah, I know. Would you rather put a running back in or a wide receiver in this case?
In these weeks, I'm actually fine with a running back.
Yeah, I think I'd rather go the running back over the wide receiver. So, now he might be thinking, well, since they're splitting on the wide receiver, I'll put the other one in the flex, which is a good option because I like both of those guys, but I just happen to like Jennings more. I think there's more risk with McMillan.
Sure, absolutely.
With Swift and Tracy, you do have risk of if Monangai gets a hot hand or Singletary gets a hot hand or things along those lines, where it's probably McMillan or bust or Jennings or bust at the wide receiver spot.
Yeah.
I'm leaning Jennings and McMillan right now because of the uncertainty over Swift and Tracy. I think Swift and Tracy are both low end 2, high end 3 running backs. I think McMillan is a middle 2 wide receiver.
McMillan and I'm still going Swift. Yeah, I think this is another big game like they had against the Eagles. I think we're going to see a repeat of that for both these running backs. So McMillan and Swift are my answers here. Tearing Ricky up.
And sadly, I'm going to Jennings and Tracy. I am sorry, Fantasy Breakout. You heard our arguments. You have to roll with that in a flip of the coin or a magic 8.
No matter who you pick, we got it right.
Shoot. Watch this. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Third, I say, which 3 linebackers should I start this week? So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. There's 2 we're going to drop out of Jack Campbell, Devin White, not a great matchup. Nate Landman, Barrett Carter, Quay Walker. I believe I might have answered this one online, so I'm going to let you go first on this one.
I know everybody is down on White this week. I see a bunch of running by the offense here, and White's going to be on the field a lot, regardless of the matchup. I actually still like him this week. In a lot of
the
leagues.
Eagles are typically a bad matchup, but I think the Eagles are going to try and establish the run game in this game.
Also, it's the Devin White revenge game against the Eagles. Yeah, that's where he was when his whole career started falling apart. So I'm expecting him to be actually really motivated this week. But I like him. Jack Campbell.
Walker and Carter are probably the 2 that are out for me.
Walker's got a good matchup too. None of these are actually
Landman against the Rams against the Lions is a great matchup for the Rams.
Yeah. Campbell doesn't have as good of a matchup against the Rams. However, he didn't have a good matchup last week and just completely tore it up. So I'm not benching Campbell. I'm with you. Landman's good. And then I like White for he's had so many good games. I know the matchup on paper doesn't look good, but I'm rolling with him.
All right, so Campbell, White, and Landman is our recommendation. At least we didn't argue in that one. Fantasy Breakout. Likely Barner, Theo Johnson, or Darren Waller for tight end. There's a lot of love going around for Likely because they're playing Cincinnati, but there's Mark Andrews and Charlie Kolar there. And yes, Likely has been getting more targets. Theo Johnson against Washington is kind of tempting as well. Darren Waller is not on the list for me.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers actually giving up quite a bit of points to tight ends, but that Miami offense just cannot find him right now. Plus, we had, who's it, Greg Dulcich?
Yep.
Actually
Stephen.
had a better game last week. So, yeah,
Yeah,
Waller's kind
Waller
of
was not getting much snap count either. I'm,
yeah,
I'm liking Theo Johnson in this one because if you believe the narrative that Dart's not going to run as much, and if you believe the narrative that it's going to be a short passing game, there's a lot of Theo Johnson who had a great rapport with Dart before he got hurt. He was
sure.
targeting him quite a bit. I think it's Johnson and Wan'Dale Robinson have big games this week.
What are your thoughts on Barner here, real quick? Just against that Indianapolis defense that just got DeForest Buckner back,
No,
just shut down.
DeForest Buckner is not back.
He is not back.
He was not activated from
Okay,
IR.
so I missed that one. All right. Well, never mind that. It kind of changed my thoughts there on his usage. I'll go with you. I like Johnson's matchup as well.
Yeah.
Likely's riskier. He's probably my second choice here.
I'd go Johnson, Likely, Barner, Waller. That would be my order.
Yep, right there with you.
Okay. Now, the only thing is with the tight end position, oftentimes it's touchdown or bust. And I actually think that Johnson has the best chance for a tight end. I think likely it's risky between even Charlie Kolar might get one. Skywalker, what's up, man? To you as well. He's starting the Gene. Should I start him or drop him for any of Witherspoon versus the Colts, Maddox versus the Rams? We talked about him. We think Maddox is going to be more the Kirby Joseph role, or Humphrey versus Cincinnati.
I might go Humphrey. DeJean's playing the Raiders. I just worry about him not
Yeah,
getting
I
enough.
don't like DeJean this week against the Raiders. I like Witherspoon against the Colts this week.
Okay.
I do. When Humphrey had that big game a couple of weeks ago, he played more in the slot, and that should continue with Awuzie there. And Wiggins is going to be active, so I could be talked into Humphrey as well. But I like the way they've gotten back, excluding the blowout. Before that, they were starting to use Witherspoon more on the inside, starting to blitz him more. Now, something just hit me. Do the Colts play more two tight ends to help protect Rivers more, which would be worse for Witherspoon?
Well, Witherspoon's playing outside.
But they were moving him. They started moving him to the slot, and they had Job and Tariq on the outside, and Witherspoon was moving to the slot. They kind of got that back in place.
Was that for one game, or is that the trend? Because I think Job was
That's
actually
a fair.
healthy a couple of weeks before that and didn't play or wasn't used outside. So, yeah, I'm going with Humphrey here. I feel the safest with him this week.
I would. I think that's a good call. I think let's go with Humphrey against Cincinnati. Burrow's going to throw the ball a bunch, even in this cold weather. I think there'll
Yeah,
be a
has
lot of
to.
passing there. Yeah. All right. So good luck, Skywalker. Same question here. Kirby Joseph, Thomas Harper out. We think, based on last week, he played deep.
Yeah,
So,
we expect that to continue.
yep, that is correct. All right, Harry, what's up, Harry? What two safeties should I start? Imanwari, Winston, or Battle? I've given him my thoughts on that, I believe, online. So I'll let you answer and see if you come up with the same answer.
Evan Warren Winston for me. I like Battle, but as of late, it's been the Geno Stone show. Battle's not a terrible option. Just right now, Winston is balling up. Evan Warren is having a great run as well. So I'm riding the high hand with those two.
Yeah. Rashad Bateman is inactive. I'm looking for unusual inactive so far.
Quentin Johnson's out. Debo is active. Odunze said he's playing, so those were the three most compelling I seen at the time.
Okay, that you've seen. All right. So I told Harry the same thing, Imanwari and Winston. At least I believe it was him that asked that question. If not, someone asked something very similar.
Terrell Bernard is out, as is Trent McDuffie.
Oh, okay. There's a couple of surprise ones. Okay, Bernard and McDuffie. So does that change our Connor answer from earlier in the show?
I probably like him a little better now, actually. No, I'm sticking with that. That's not going to change
Yeah,
me.
I agree with that. I think it might even be better for him. Should add a backup running back in Brian Robinson Jr. or drop kick it for McCaffrey insurance, or McCaffrey good to go and just keep the kicker. If you have a backup kicker, get rid of the kicker. If that's what I'm understanding, I would never roster, particularly this late in the year, two kickers. So if that's what I'm hearing, get rid of the kicker and grab Brian Robinson.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely,
Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
absolutely get Brian Robinson with him having a mysterious back injury. I think it was all of a sudden. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No.
you better be scared to death right now.
Yeah. In either way, I would be finding someone to drop to pick up Brian Robinson
Yes,
Jr.
yes,
Because McCaffrey's had so many touches this year. He's on pace for like 425, which is obnoxious, which there's no way I will be touching him next year. And
yeah.
you just hope he holds out through a couple more games and gets us through the fantasy playoffs. But I actually, in my guillotine league where I have McCaffrey, I picked him up. Um, and there was like someone else, like Javante Williams or someone like that out there. I picked up Brian Robinson over him for the usage in the 49ers offense. So, yes, definitely pick him up. I think we've stressed that enough. Third Eye says pick one out of Jacoby Myers, Reed with the Packers, or Khalil Shakir. This one is pretty easy one for me. Sean?
He's going Myers because he's a Jaguars fan.
I am not a Jaguars fan. That's certain Jaguar players like Brian Thomas from LSU. But Jacoby Myers has been performing like a wide receiver two since he's gone to
Yeah,
the Jaguars. And he and Lawrence have a great rapport. Reed, there's too much of a rotation. Shakir, he's not going to give you much of a high side, most likely.
right.
Not to mention the weather there. So we are on Jacoby Myers. Good luck, third eye. Fantasy Breakout says deeply questioned 4 points per passing TD. Oh,
Hmm.
oh, man, I need my barf bag for this one. JJ McCarthy, Bryce Young, Shadur Sanders, Tyler Shuck. I don't. So Sanders, because of the weather, I'm taking him out because of the weather right off the bat. JJ McCarthy against the Dallas Cowboys, Shuck against Carolina. Those two could be a toss up.
He got
And then
Bryce against New Orleans, who have not been a great matchup.
Saints. I'm sorry.
The Saints have not been a great matchup.
Yeah, the Saints defense have been playing much, much better. And Shuck has kind of energized them. Shuck at least is giving the running floor. I don't expect him to rush for 2 touchdowns. I know it's the Dallas Cowboys, but man, how much faith do you have in McCarthy?
That's where I'm at. The matchup is great for quarterbacks against Dallas, but McCarthy himself sucks. so, so we're going Shuck. Is that where we're going with?
I'm going Shuck on this one, and I'm trying to be careful not to have any kind of Saints bias because everybody knows I have a LSU and Saints, but his rushing floor, the Carolina defense does not have much of a pass rush. Um,
Yeah, they're built to stop the run, not rush the passer.
so if he drops back and they lose containment, I don't see Trevin Wallace keeping up with him, sprinting outside. I'm going Shuck on this list. I'd rather go down with someone like that than Sanders. I just can't play in this weather. I just can't
Yeah,
do it.
I'm out on Sanders. I'm worried about Carolina's corners because they are not the easiest to throw against with Horn and oh no, I forgot
Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah, I am worried about those two. Um, I don't have a very compelling argument for McCarthy other than the matchup is fantastic on paper.
Right. So your order is McCarthy and Shuck. Is
Yeah,
that what you're?
McCarthy, Shuck, Young, Sanders. I can't really. The matchup says it's good on paper. Still have Justin Jefferson. You have two running backs that he can dink and dunk to. Maybe squeaks in a couple of extra touchdowns. Where Shuck might throw a few more interceptions. That's my only concerns there. But the rushing upside's there too. Yeah, this is tough.
Yeah. The you're talking probably mid, all of them mid to low end two quarterbacks here. So It's like
Yeah,
what can give you something on this, and the one thing you might get with Shuck is the rushing to help you out a little bit.
yeah,
I know
he's
the Cowboys defense did really bad against Detroit last week, but
yes,
Detroit was in this kind of desperate mode, and they're really, really good. Previous couple of weeks, the Dallas defense wasn't doing too bad. I'm still going to stick with Shuck. Okay, so we're split on Shuck and
no, no,
Mahomes
I'll flip and go Shuck as well. Clowney's coming back. Dallas has to win to have a shot.
at home.
Yeah, yeah, I'll go Shuck as well. I don't like it, but I'm doing it.
Okay. Third Eye's asking if Buckner is activated next week, should I play him and drop Daniil Hunter, tackle 5 points,
Ooh,
stack 10 points? Ooh. I tell you what, Third Eye, so we can get to the questions this week, and we have about 10 minutes left. Let us get through these others. We'll come back. If not, ask it, ask it on the YouTube channel, or we'll try and get back to it at the end before we go. All right, one of our regulars. Hello there, sir. Osai, Jordan Davis, Jalix Hunt, pick one, please. Looking for tackles. And Iman Wari or Bishop. I'll take the easy one. Iman Wari over
yeah.
Bishop.
As far as tackles go, none of these are high tackle guys. I know Hunt just had that massive game where it was against the Chargers, who have an
Jordan Davis,
offensive line.
with Carter being out, Jordan Davis, when he gets 60+% of the snaps, does get a decent amount of tackles.
Against the Raiders, though?
Again, have you seen them running Ashton Gentile?
Get just up the middle. Yeah.
Pass and punt.
Yeah, right, right. Um, yeah, I guess Davis is your probably best tackle floor. Sai hasn't been terrible. It's the matchup I don't think will be the same as it was last time. Jalen
Yeah.
Hunt had the sacks. He's kind of sacker
That was,
for the most part.
yeah, that was the recency bias from last week. Got to
Yeah.
be careful and Hunt.
Yeah, I'll go Davis as well.
Jordan Davis is our recommendation, sir. Good luck to you. Hello, Ben. Glad to have you as always. Bench one out of the following: Spillane, Landman, Carter, Edwards. I think it's
Edwards. Yeah, we're not touching the Bears linebackers right now.
Yeah, we got to stay away. There's just too much with the Bears. Okay. Ben's also asking start two out of Emonwari, Paulson Debo, former Saint, now the Giants, Derwin James, Jalen Petrie. Which two are you starting? I'm starting Emonwari as one for sure.
Emin Ward for sure. Tebow's productive when he's in there. Derwin James is Derwin James. The matchup itself is not great.
He hasn't been had tons of big games. I'd rather not use the corner. I think I'm going Petrie in this one against Arizona.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I think so too. They've been throwing the ball a lot.
Yeah. So we're going to go Emonwari and Petrie. And good luck, Ben. Bird here again, as he says, someone in my league dropped medalists. Would you drop any of the four that we talked about earlier for medalists?
Maybe Mustafa.
Ooh, I was going to say maybe Julian Love.
I'm not ready to quit Julian Love just yet.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think he's been up and down, has medalists, because depending on how they use him, and you don't know which week they're going to use him more close to the line of scrimmage versus deep. Like last week, they used him more deep, and Harrison Smith close to the line of scrimmage. And they've been playing Eric Wilson a lot more and staying with a lot more two linebackers as well.
Theo Jackson is back also to help screw that up.
Yeah, and sometimes when that happens, one of them only plays like 90% of the snaps. So I'm not making any changes right now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Ben is asking Chase Young, Jordan Davis, or Osai. Tackle heavy Davis, big play Chase Young.
Yeah, almost want to pick Osai just for fun. We'll go. Yeah, Chase Young for the ceiling there. Well, he's sacker bust.
Well, he's been getting a couple of tackles, but right now it all depends on scoring system. Ben, Jordan Davis for tackles. I'd go Chase Young for big play. If if you want a balance between the two, it's Osai. Once again, it all depends on your scoring system. Fresh Prince says, "Good morning, morning, gents. Start two DBs out of Hufanga, James, Curl, Merrick, and Chin. And there's his scoring system, which includes 10 points per sack, 5 points for forced fumble. So 5 points for tackles. So two tackles equals one sack in this particular scenario.
It's only two of these guys. Oh boy, I like
It's
the last three a lot.
I do like Curl in this matchup against the Lions. We talked about Merrick earlier. Hufanga in this matchup against Green Bay is not shabby either. Believe it or not. Oh, and I like Chin as well. Oh, geez. All right.
Yeah, we're out on James. We can tell you that much.
James is out. I mean, all these other guys are probably top 10 this week.
Yeah, honestly.
I like the most I like is Hufanga, Kuro, and Chin. Oh, he's got to start two. Okay, let me take that back then. I'm going to go Chin and Hufanga. Just barely over Curl.
I'm going to go Merrick and Curl. No,
Okay,
actually, boy, this feels like a big Curl game. Curl and Merrick, yeah, I got to go with those two.
Oh, wow, we really
Chin. Yeah, because I like Hufanga too. I like Chin.
I have a feeling at the end of the day, all these guys are going to score about the same points unless one of them happens to pick up a sack. And that one, it's so hard to predict sacks from a safety.
Boy,
I would stay away from Murray just in case they love Ransom so much. I know they won't do that. They're going to still play him.
Ransom. They'll put him in for Scott. They put him in.
Hufanga's been getting more of the box snaps versus. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're split. I can't. I like Kuro and Merrick, but I like Chin and Hufanga more, and Shawn's the other way. Fresh Prince. Very sorry we don't have a consensus for you, man. Not even close. But at least we took Derwin James out there, which might be the one that you're surprised about that we're taking out. All right, Jonathan, who's been a regular. Good to have you back, Jonathan. Tackle heavy start one IDP and one IDP flex two. So we're going to start off. One DB and two flex. Yeah. Sorry. For the DB, I'm going him and Worry again.
Over Winston, I feel that one's pretty close. Especially if you're looking for a big game from Kittle and Jennings. I feel like it's a lot of slants, a lot of middle of the field stuff where Winston will be.
I just love
Chin's there too. I didn't see. I passed over Chin.
Yeah, I mean these are all great. I mean all of these guys top 10 or 12.
Yeah, I'll go him and Worry too. Slight edge.
And then you did. This is a tackle heavy, and in a tackle heavy, I think I got to go with Chin. The more I think about it, the tackle heavy didn't resonate. But in tackle heavy scoring with Chin getting 17 tackles, 11 tackles, and then against Philadelphia, who I do expect them to try and establish the run a lot with Barkley and Hurts to actually have some carries as well. I'm actually switching to Chin because of the tackle heavy scoring system. And then in the flex for two, so sorry about that. We're splitting unless Shawn changes his mind after thinking about that. And then at the linebacker position, Edwards is out. Overshown was at 77%, I believe, last week. Wagner had 16 tackles last week in his matchup against the Giants. I do expect the Giants to run the ball. I think I'm leaning Wagner as one of those two.
Yeah, Wagner's the top linebacker for me here. So he's one of my flexes. I'm considering going two safeties on this one.
Even in a tackle heavy.
I don't like TJ Edwards. I'm not ready to trust Overshown.
I'm thinking Singleton.
Against Green Bay with some banged up running backs, possibly a bunch of passing. I'm a little worried
I
about
think
Singleton.
Jacobs is going to play.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I'm just worried about him getting re-injured during it and coming out. I don't know if that really matters though. So Wagner, Singleton, and Chen is who you went with.
That's who I'm going with. Yep.
Yeah, I don't hate that a bit. I'll go with that.
Okay. That's who we're going to go with. All righty. Let's go to Rugaroo. Hey, Rugaroo. All righty. Morning, gents. Who dat to you as well, sir. I got the buy as a top seed in MFL, so merci beaucoup. You are welcome. Glad that worked out for you, man, and I hope the good continues, and we hope you will be here next week to join us. At BJ says, hi, guys. Got a difficult defense special teams questions. Need to play the Dolphins or the Ravens or the Rams? Score sacks, tackle, punt, kick, and return yards as well, and punishes for opponent points.
Yeah, that's normal.
But the way he said punishes makes it feel like it's even more
So,
for points allowed.
well, it's always that way. You know, the more points the offense scores, the less points you get for starting a defense. So I don't see that as different. It was weirdly worded. I don't feel good about any. Really, the Ravens defense hasn't been very good at all, and the Rams have a really tough matchup.
I'd probably
I still might go Rams.
Oh no, I can't do the Rams against Detroit after seeing what they did to the Cowboys last week. Even though the Rams have a good defense, I believe it's got the highest in Vegas. I believe it's got the game with the highest scoring expected.
That's why it's going to be nothing.
I'd almost go with the Dolphins against the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are capable of a ton of points. Yeah, I don't think the Steelers are capable. I don't think he's going to get a ton of points from. But Tua may throw a pick in that bad weather. You got the Miami boys going to cold Pittsburgh. I'd certainly rather take that chance, particularly if I'm interpreting like serious punishment for opponents' points. Now maybe it's the way it's worded to your point, but do I want to take a chance of Burrow against the Ravens or Goff and St. Brown and Jameson Williams and Gibbs and so forth against the Rams? I'm this one. I'm going conservative and I'm going Dolphins. They might not give you. They're not going to give you like 12 points or 15 points, but I don't think they'll give you negative either.
Right.
That's where I think the Ravens and Rams can end up giving you negative. That's where I'm at. Shawn, your final call?
Yeah, I'll go with you. Dolphins.
All right. Angus Khan says, need to fill a flex spot tackle heavy. He's got quite a long list here. And I'll double check. I think, let me see if Muasal's healthy, just as you're starting to go through those real quick.
So we just need to put one of these guys in.
He says he needs to fill flex spot and tackle heavy.
I'm okay with putting in Malachi Moore. Or if you want to pull Kevin Winston off practice squad, go for it. I don't like Hickman any better. Drake Thomas, I'm a little worried about this week. Barnes, Muasal, I don't like either one of those. Robinson.
Curtis Robinson in playoffs.
Yeah. Ellis, he's the second guy that could be a bit of a shootout. Hines Allen's not terrible, but I feel like Malachi is going to give you more tackles. So Malachi or Winston.
Tackle heavy. I'm going to Malachi Moore here in this one as well. I'm with you. I think the game Jacksonville ends up running the ball a ton in this game. All right, Parkway Drive, torn between Kenneth Walker, Justin Jefferson, and Tyler Warren.
Oh my God!
Next spot. I can understand why you're torn.
Yeah, what a world we've reached. What a point we've reached at this year.
I benched Tyler Warren in the league. If you look at his last
Justin Jefferson dropped.
Yeah. Oh, you have?
Yes. and nobody touched him.
Man, if Justin Jefferson goes off against this Cowboys defense, I just don't think Tyler Warren has much of a ceiling. I don't think Ken Walker has much of a ceiling, and I think they all have similar floors. So I'm going to take the chance on the guy who is going against this Cowboys defense in a dome stadium. I know we talked bad about McCarthy earlier, um, but McCarthy can still have a so-so bad game, and Jefferson can still produce. I think O'Connell's nuts if he hasn't tried to figure out a way to get in a good weather game to try and get Jefferson the ball more against Dallas.
Yeah, Walker's actually last on this list for me. I'll take the spot to Jefferson, although I do see Warren not having a terrible game. I think he'll be the top target for Rivers here. But yeah, we'll go with Jefferson.
I think Warren's going to block more, just like with Mo Cox.
The Seahawks are actually giving quite a bit of points up to tight ends, but without knowing what this is going to look like, there's a lot of unknowns with this new Colts offense. So yeah, just Jefferson.
Well, I looked at a bunch of quarterback rankings just to see where they put Rivers, and everybody had him in. The highest I saw him was one that had him 29. Everybody else had him 30, 31, or 32.
Yeah, because nobody knows what to expect. 5 years of rust, it's desperation.
Yeah.
Is what we're looking at here.
Yeah, and I'd rather at least try Jefferson in that regard. So, and think of it this way: Parkway Drive. If you lose and you have Justin Jefferson on your bench, how's that going to feel? If you went with Walker and Warren, that caused you to lose. I'm going Jefferson. All right, you got Third Eye says you guys write all those weekly advice, Sid Star So's, and answering our Q&A on your post means a lot. Big time help, best in the business, fellas. Thank you. You're welcome, Third Eye. Glad to have you all. We hit this Kavos one already. Does snow mean more rushing games? Is Third Eye question. The answer is no. And actually, some of the studies have shown that snow is actually better for the
snaps.
It may mean a little bit less snaps, but receivers know where they're going in the snow, and where the cornerbacks don't, and for cuts and things along those lines. So actually, snow, unless it's like heavy blizzard with winds and stuff, just general snow does not really have an impact. Okay. One stop 9884. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. We are, and hope you are as well. Are you trusting Abdul Carter against the Redskins? Are you going with Jalix Hunt against the Raiders, Shawn?
You said Redskins, Ricky.
Oh, I did. Crud. Commanders.
I'll take Hunt.
I'm going Hunt as well. Carter has basically one lucky set so far. And we are way past the top of the hour, and I've got some lineups to check myself. So we got about 3 minutes left, really fast. Petrie or Medalist?
Petrie.
Petrie, agree. Edrin Cooper, Bernard's out, you said, or Pratt? Cooper or Pratt?
Cooper.
Cooper as well for me. Marcus Glivings, good morning, IDP gents. Cashman, Dodson, or Herbig? He needs 2. Which one you dropping?
Dropping Herbig.
Dropping Herbig as well. Need 2 defensive backs, Derwin James, Winston, or Moore?
Taking out James.
I'm taking out James as well. Wow, how the mighty have fallen. This is the one that I answered for him online. I went with that I was telling you earlier, and this is the one that said Roquan and Schlesinger was for this one, Ted. And he was and he was talking about Baltimore. Barrett Carter would have probably been my third one, but I'd still stick with Schlesinger on this one. Okay, Manny says start Stroud, Nix, or Jared Goff. I know some people are nervous about Goff against the Rams defense, as we were just talking about earlier.
He's going to have to throw some bombs to J-Mo if I'm lucky. Nix gives you a little bit of rush upside.
He's been a little bit inconsistent.
Packers are tough.
Goff and Stroud. Yeah, I'm Goff and Stroud.
I'll go Goff.
Yeah, I'm going to go Goff in that big game too. I think the Lions need it. I'm going to go with Goff as well. Hey, Shawn, what's up, man? He has a couple of questions. He's saying Max or Micah?
Micah.
Neither one's a great matchup. I don't like
No.
either matchup, so I'm going to go Micah because Max is a little bit banged up as well. Addison, Chris Rodriguez, is Rodriguez even active?
I think he is not, actually. Give me Hunt.
Just trying to double check that really fast, really fast, really fast. Chris Rodriguez is inactive, so Hunt is the answer. I agree with that. Okay. How much attention do you pay to your opponent's players' game time slots? Do we try and match? Nope, do not.
I don't care who they're playing or what time they play. I'm trying to get my best team out there every week.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you, man. I do not worry about it at all. Don't try. If they have a wide receiver, match quarterback, nope, just stay away. Play your best players who can give you the most points. Currently playing Shaq Thompson in the flex. Good news is Bernard is inactive. That Shawn called out earlier. I would not replace him with any of the folks on this list.
Nope.
Seacoast is asking, start two out of Emanwari, Cross, and Winston. We answered this one earlier. We went with Emanwari and Winston on this one. Also have to start one of Roseboom, Cody Simon, or the third safety above.
I'll take Roseboom.
I'll go Roseboom as well, particularly since he's in that number 2 linebacker role and not playing the green dot, which he seems to be more productive that way. Robert Holloway saying Spillane or Shaq.
Spillane is active, so do what?
I'm going Shaq in this one.
I'm gonna go Spillane.
You're going to go Spillane? Robert says Spillane is on my last nerve.
Same, but I'm still taking him. If he's healthy, then I've got to put him in there.
I'm sorry we're splitting it, Robert. I'm going with Shaq on this one, man. Sorry about that. Clint is asking Joseph Asai against Buffalo or Cleveland Farrell against the Titans. I'm actually going Farrell against the Titans on this one.
Osai is actually playing the Ravens and had that big game against Lamar and them. Right? Or am I wrong here? Yeah, the Bills are playing the Patriots.
Osai is playing the yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I'll still take Farrell against the Titans. Yeah,
yeah.
They did really well last week, but I think they made it a point to not let Garrett get the record. So,
all right. Ted is asking, here's a scoring system, Burrow or Dart? I'm going Burrow.
Burrow.
Mailman, who has a better game today, Highsmith or Herbig? Someone else asked me the same question. Oh, Highsmith is going to have the better game. There's a reason. My response was, there's a reason Highsmith starts over Herbig.
Yeah, but I think Highsmith will garner more attention than Herbig.
We're split on this one, Mailman. Sorry, I'm going to go with the starter. And I know Herbig does do well when he starts. I get it, but I'm going to go with the starter. Connor, Winston, or Emanwari, pick 2. Oh, geez.
Emanwari and Connor.
Yeah, in this case, I'm gonna sit Winston for Connor. I'm with you. Okay, Chepanita, man, we're gonna have to go, but I'm gonna try and go really fast here through these last 5 or 6. Rodgers, Mahomes in a super flex. Rodgers, Mahomes, Shuck, and Rivers. No way on Rivers.
Yeah. Rodgers.
If Mahomes goes off, I'm going to be pissed if he goes off on my bench. So I'm going to go with Mahomes.
Yeah, you're taking Mahomes out of that group. No way he bombs 2 weeks in a row like that.
Or
no way.
I'm going Shuck.
I'm going Mahomes.
Well, no, he needs 2. I'm going Mahomes.
Oh yeah, Mahomes the Shuck. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Start Kevin, Winston, or Chin today. Boy, a lot of Winston and Chin questions. Shawn, I'll let you call this one.
Let's go Winston, just for fun.
Yeah, without the scoring system, not sure on that one. Worthy, Franklin, Debo, or Burden? I'm going Debo against the Giants on this one.
Debo's out, man out.
No, oh, he has to pick 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm benching heard, and with Odunze supposedly playing and so forth. That's who I'm going to bench.
Yeah, me too.
Although Franklin's playing time is going down, but Pat Bryant's out. That's the only reason I'm leaving Franklin in. All right, pick two out of Roquan, Cedric Gray, and Dotson.
Gray and Dotson.
Oh, that's interesting. Over Roquan?
Yep. I don't think it matters, honestly, out of these three. I think you can start any combination of these guys and be all right.
All right. Start three. Likely Andrews, Theo Johnson. There's a bunch. I won't list them all in the interest of time.
Tracy, Theo, and likely, just for fun.
Ooh, I'm going Johnson, Tracy, and I'm going to go Keyshawn Booty. And actually, you know what? Because of the weather situation, I'm going to go Jaden Higgins slightly over Booty. I'm not taking.
I was between.
I'm not taking the chance on Likely.
All right. I just with Bateman out, I think maybe he'll be the big play guy.
Okay. That's a good point. Bateman's out, but still, yeah. There's an argument for that too. I hear you. Need help with one of my running back spots and two flexes in full. Devin Neal, Addison, Dowdle, Brees Hall, Ken Walker, McConkey. Ugh. Chargers passing game hard to trust. Hard to trust Walker. Hall and the Jets with Brady Cook can't trust. So I am going Neal, Dowdle. I am going to go McConkey as the last one.
I'll follow that.
Okay. Jason Goodell, start Isaiah Oliver with Tony Adams back. No, I do expect we talked about earlier in the show to play cornerback and probably outside cornerback. So not trusting him at all. Let's see. Ben says, thank you, gents. Good luck this weekend. Same to you, Ben. All right. Baloo is asking real quick here. Avante Maddox, Sandra Steele, or Riley Moss, and there's his scoring system.
Pick two. Maddox is out.
Yeah, Maddox is out for me as well. It's too risky when we don't know his utilization and even playing time for that matter. McNichols or Munungai this week in PPR. I know Rodriguez is out, but I'm still going Munungai.
Yep.
Karlaftis or Alex Highsmith.
This one's fun. Karlaftis.
The Chargers' offensive tackles are so bad. I'm going to go for this as well. The infamous CHB. I don't know if that stands for cheeseburger. Which quarterback should I start? Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, Bo Nix, or Tyler Shuck?
I'm intrigued by Jordan Love, but that is a tough secondary to pass against. I'm still going Jordan Love.
I'm going with Jordan Love over these other guys. I'd rather lose Love versus one of these guys getting lucky.
Yeah.
Crypto life bags. That's interesting. Do you like the Rodgers-Warren stack on Monday Night Football or Mariota no C-Rod?
Probably Rodgers-Warren for me.
I do like Mariota over a lot of those quarterbacks we talked about earlier, including Rodgers. So I like Mariota over Rodgers this week. Unfortunately, I don't quite follow the stack. If there's no C-Rod, then what's the stack for that? But
Jalen Warren was the running back.
Yeah, but who would be with Mariota that he'd be stacking? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, probably Jalen Warren. I guess was my guess. I don't know that.
Yeah. So sorry about that, but for the quarterback, it's Mariota. Rodgers, not close for me. All right, defense special teams for Ted. Denver versus Green Bay. Drop for San Francisco, Carolina, Dallas, or the Giants?
San Francisco is not a bad play. Denver's been great all year. Can they shut down Green Bay? I still think they get some sacks, maybe an interception.
Yeah, I think out of all these, I'm rolling with the Denver defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sticking with what got me to the dance.
Yep. Those others weren't like great. Lamar, Dak.
Dak.
I'm going Lamar. Sorry, Ryan. Sorry to do this, but this late, and I know we've got other questions coming in, but I'm gonna have to cut it off here. Just Warren or Ginty. Who are you playing, Warren or Ginty? We gave Mariota earlier.
I'll play Warren.
I'm playing Warren or Ginty as well. Kareem Hunt or Shakir for Ice Cold Jones.
Hunt. He's more likely to get a touchdown.
All right, the last one, we got to go, man. I'm so sorry for those. There's a few more that just came in, but we got to go.
Oh, my gosh.
Flex one from Mr. Bakes a Lot. Zaire Bones, I don't think he plays.
Tony Adams.
Tony Adams, it is for me as well, because we are not fans of
Barton.
that. Sorry, we need to go, folks. We ran much longer than we typically do. Try to get to as many as we could. We will be back Tuesday night recording a recap from week 15 and let you know some thoughts for week 16 and 17. We're talking about defensive player alignments and all that kind of fun stuff and all. That'll be released on Wednesday morning. We'll be here for start sit for week 16 next Sunday morning. Join us for that. That wraps up our show, folks. With that, give me a follow at RickyRod66, Shawn at Shawn8386 on X. Look for that IDP Plus advice show on Wednesday morning. And with that, on behalf of Shawn Teague, this is Ricky Rodrigue wishing you, your family, and your friends great health and happiness. Be kind to one another, and good luck in Week 15 and your fantasy football playoffs.